Ready to unlock the profit potential in your construction business? I've got you covered with 10 key things to make sure you're not scratching your head wondering, where'd the money go? All right, so I'm going to be sharing with you the Contractor Profit Maximizer Blueprint. This is your blueprint to profitability, to putting more money in your pocket so you can go straight to the bank and enjoy whatever it is that you love doing. Before we get started, give this video a big thumbs up if you've got any value out of this. Really appreciate you giving it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. It is the best way to grow your construction business. Jumping in, Contractor Profit Maximizer. If you'd like a copy of this document, there will be one in the description below, but make sure you do watch this video to the end because I'm going to be sharing with you how to use this blueprint effectively. Yes, the information is contained here, but the way to use it and get the benefits of it, I'm going to be explaining in this video. So make sure you watch to the end. Make sure that you are profitable and that you're not just trying to implement a bunch of things that aren't going to be working successfully. And then you come to me later like, Derek, this didn't work for me. Watch the video and feel free to drop a comment. Overview, make more money in construction. That's what you want. That's what I want. That's what everybody in business wants. More money saved, increasing profits. Contractors keep more money, paying all their bills, involve less stress for you. I'm sure money is a big stressor of your business. So being profitable, having money in the bank, having that, well-oiled money machine brings the stress way, way down. It makes you have a stronger business too. When you're profitable, that'll account for things like the economy takes a little bit of a dive. If you don't get any leads are slow, problem comes up on site, nevertheless, it always tends to happen. Murphy's Law, right? Something goes bad, you end up not making as much as you thought you would. But if you're running a profitable business, those little bumps and hurdles and ups and downs can get smoothed out because you know that you're least profitable, so you can afford little deviations in what's going on out there. First thing I'm going to talk about is the magic markups. So easiest, quickest way to get profitable is obviously, just raise your price. There is a balancing act here because you raise them too high, you probably won't get a whole lot of job. What I suggest is you want to increase your markups, increase them on projects that you don't particularly enjoy, or, smaller projects that aren't going to be as profitable. As you know, you can do like a $20,000 kitchen renovation, or, maybe you can, it's pretty hard to do one for that nowadays, but you know what I'm saying, like those smaller jobs that are maybe, $20,000 kitchen renovation as opposed to $100,000 kitchen renovation. The profit that you're going to make and the money you're going to make on the smaller project is much less, but you're probably going to spend almost as much time with the clients that want the $20,000 renovation as the ones that want the $100,000 renovation. So that is why I suggest make sure you're raising your markups on small projects or projects that are going to have some risk to them, or ones that you're not really tooled for, that you don't really particularly want. It's an easy way to make more profitability. Plus, all those small jobs that you say yes to are hindering your ability to get larger, better projects. Plus, you start to become known as the guy that does the smaller projects, or the cheaper projects. Yes, they're good to keep money going and keep the guys busy, whatever, however you want to justify it. But ultimately, if you want higher level clientele, if you want to be doing larger projects, you need to be willing to say no, or at least raise your prices on those other projects so that naturally you will get less of them because they're probably going to go with a cheaper option because they're small projects to begin with. Does that make sense? Like I said, drop a comment below. I'd really love to hear your thoughts on all of these. If they're not making sense, let me know. If they are making sense, you're like, that is awesome, let me know. I'd love to hear from you. So raise your markups on small, undesirable jobs. The second one we're going to get to in profitability, like I said, we've got 10 of these. Every one is compounded on another one. If every one of these can get you like a 2% increase in profitability overall, like company wide, then each one could easily add up to 20% additional profit to pocket. A lot of these have the ability to get you even 5% more profitability throughout your company. So add-ons and upgrades. Whenever a client has signed on the dotted line, you can do this before or after they've agreed to go ahead with the project. Typically, I would say it probably makes more sense for you to do this after they've already agreed on the project, because if you do it before, it's going to make your project seem more expensive, even though they're getting a much better value and better product to them. If they're comparing apples to oranges, and yours, is a delicious orange and the other one's, some crab apple, they may go with the other one, even though yours is much better value. So, but after a client is sold on your project, give them a project upgrades checklist. So like I said, check out the links in the description below, download this for yourself. Inside this document, it's like the document that keeps on giving. So, better than Christmas here, you get a present, that present gives you another present. You're going to get this document, plus you can download additional documents like this project upgrades list. And I've got more coming up. Make sure you wait for those. So this this is going to be things like, humidity motion sensor bath fan, soundproofing for rooms. So offer these options to clients because they're going to have a better experience with your company, and they're going to have a much better experience with the final product of the renovation. Who wants to get to renovation and realize at the end, like, oh, I wish we would have soundproofed the walls in this bathroom because, we can hear grandpa tooting after Thanksgiving dinner or whatever, right? Then it kind of reflects badly on you. Even if you did the finishes wonderfully, they've been left with sort of a cheaper renovation, even though that's what they wanted, to reflect on you. But it's a great way to increase profitability with some of these extras that they want to add on, things like security systems, flush mount countertop, pop-up electrical plugs. So these are all like kind of luxury items, but when they get the option to do it, it's like, oh, like an extra $800, I can get, cool feature, an extra $3,000. We can soundproof the entire floor so we don't hear the kids, banging around upstairs or downstairs or whatever. So it's an easy way to increase the job size, increase your profitability. And it really doesn't cost you any extra time or money because you can just send them this list. They can go through the list. So you're not like hard selling them anything. You're just giving them a list like, hey, we're going to do this amazing renovation. Would you like any of this stuff? Because a lot of our clients ask us for this stuff, or when the project gets going, we find that these things will really give them a lot of value. So great way to do that. Pretty easy document to get into. Easy is the name of the game. I want this stuff to be easy for you. So the next one is estimate reviews. Avoid costly mistakes and blind spots by reviewing estimates with an experienced team member. And this can save your bacon so many times and really easy. It takes 5-10 minutes. Estimating is so incredibly important to profitability because if you have things in the estimate, if you don't have great templates in place, you don't have a great estimating system in place, then it's very easy for things to get forgotten or your pricing to not be current, and you're going to lose money later in the project. If you've estimated badly, the project is going to be bad as far as profitability and money goes, because it's just inevitable. If you've estimated really well and you've got your profits and your costs and everything really nailed down, when you move into the project, things are going to go well. And even if something goes wrong in the project, you've accounted for those types of contingencies, and you've created that buffer. So, but a really easy way, even if you don't have a great estimating system, someone who knows a little bit about construction to review the estimate for you. This could be a project manager, could be, your site foreman, especially on really important. Maybe not everyone, again, it depends on your business and the size of your projects and all that. But if it's a really important project, like you just got, a multi-million-dollar home build or some large renovation comes through that you only do a couple of every year, what have you, make sure you get that in front of someone else's eyes, because they're going to see things that are different from you, and they may pick up on mistakes that you're not going to see running through it because you do this day in and day out. If you're using someone like a project manager or a site foreman, they've got hands-on knowledge, and they may know things that you don't know, or that you maybe aren't on the front lines anymore and know as well as them, because they may say like, hey, to demo this kitchen, like it's pretty big, plus there's like all this other stuff and it's got vaulted ceilings, that's going to take us more than like 4 hours for 2 guys. That's probably going to be an all-day thing. Just simple things like that they can help save you thousands of dollars by just asking them for 10-15 minutes to review it with them. So good way to improve profitability. Get your estimates reviewed. Pre-construction checklist. You want to start a project strong, and you want to make sure you're rolling in with some momentum. So create a standard checklist of items that need to get completed before a project starts. So before the project starts, things you need to get into place. Have a good schedule, have a good communication with the team, let everybody know what's happening, print out the plan, make sure the selections are all in place with your clients. If they're missing like, paint colors, tiles, flooring, what have you, that's a horrible place to figure all that out, is while the construction is ongoing. You should have that all detailed. It's going to make you look professional so you can get better clients, better client experience, more referrals, which are all going to lead towards profitability. But moving into a project like that, it's going to less people scratching their heads. There's going to be a process that they can follow the step-by-steps, like we've got a schedule. This is how we communicate. These people already know what's going on. This is the plans. Like everything is there, and you're going to increase the efficient profitability for all of your project. Take the time, pre-plan, will save you so much time, hassle, money later on. Does that make sense? Like I said, feel free to drop some comments below. Love to hear from you. Which ones you love, which ones maybe you think don't work for you. Labor rates, been through this myself, and definitely a thing that issue that's come up for me before is not knowing my labor rates. So I knew how much I should be paying guys as far as the competitive market, but I really didn't know how much extra additional costs, besides like maybe some taxes and a few different things, like what my real burden was for my labor rates. So I've created a full labor rate calculator for you. Get this document and get this labor rate calculator. You put in the employee's wage up here, put in a few other numbers that are like because of your area. I don't know where you are, which country, county, city, whatever, there may be different, but you put in your rates here, explains how to find them, and And you can see from this example, you're paying someone $32 an hour. Their real cost is $40, and you should probably be charging, it's actually off of the page here, so you can't see it. You should be charging, according to this, like $57, $60 an hour at least, just to cover everything that goes into having that employee and giving yourself a little bit of buffer, because as you know, labor typically goes over. If you budgeted 5 hours, it's going to take 7. If you budgeted 300, it's going to take 400. So having proper labor rates helps you be profitable and make sure that you have some accountability for miscellaneous and problems or issues that come up. So very important, get your labor rates right, and it'll help your profitability big time. Labor is probably, I would say it is easiest to not estimate right, and the biggest cause of contractor stress and lack of profitability, essentially. So moving on, number 6 here. I know I've got a lot here. I'm going through this pretty detailed because I really want to make sure that you're getting the full picture. And again, not just like reading a little bit and running with it, but you're actually understanding, the why behind it and how to implement it properly so that you are getting the results, getting profitability. Spending the 20, 30 minutes on this video to really understand this is going to give you thousands of dollars of profitability. Plus, picking up this document is worth a ton of value. I really created this because I want you to be very, very profitable so that you can afford to grow a really large business and finally get out of that paycheck to paycheck, client check to client check mentality of just like taking money here to put there and never really seeing a great construction company can actually do for you and actually be profitable and successful. So quality control, very, very important for profitability. Perform quality control checks. You're probably doing this regularly as yourself, but you want to have some sort of a document, some sort of a system, because again, you do not have the best memory. Even people with great memories, I've been told I have a fairly good memory and I forget things all the time. The reason I have a great memory is because I know where to find things, where to search for things. I know how to create a process. So my memory is out there. It's on my phone. It's in my Google Docs on, templates, checklists, things like this. So create something that's repetitive. You can then delegate to someone else. It saves you so much. I'm sure you've been to the end of a project, putting out a punch list, and that last 5%, days and days and weeks more than it should take because you haven't done the quality checks to get there, and you don't have a good list to really just punch it out, get it done, and move on to the next project. Plus, never mind when you get to finishing stage and it's like, oh shoot, we forgot to put a plug here. Oh shoot, we forgot to put a vent here. Something behind the drywall. So having a proper checks, pre-construction for sure, checklist, but pre-board, rough-ins, framing, finishing, final punch outs. So having good lists for all of that stuff will really set you apart as a contractor to make sure you're maintaining high quality, but it's going to save you a ton of money because you're not going to be going back to fix things later that should have been done right in the first place or should have been caught in the first place and fixed at the time when the work was done or just nearly after. So guess what? I have done the hard lifting for you. Go download this checklist of items here. I've got everything, scheduling, site setup as you go down the list, pre-board, rough-ins, framing, all that kind of stuff. Full document of checklist here. Go in, use what I've got, add to it, make it your own, go download it. Ton of value there coming at you. Again, don't jump off the video. You want to stay to the end because, like I said, this is the document that just keeps on giving. So change orders, another big one, profitability. Easy way to eat away your profits on a job is to start doing things for free and just letting things slide. And it's very tempting. And sometimes, yes, do it because you want to keep that relationship with the client, and you don't want the client to think they're just trying to gouge me or just another contractor who sold me a low bid and now they're trying to make it up with change orders, right? So there's a good way and a bad way to do this. Make sure that you are not letting it slide so much that your profitability is damaged. At the end of the day, you need to make sure that you are maintaining your business and your profitability because everybody relies on you. Your clients rely on you, even though they may think that they want to get a great deal and don't want to pay for change orders or whatever. But at the end of the day, if your business isn't profitable, if you're not making money, that's going to affect their project, clients you can serve, your employees, of course, your family, everybody around you relies on you to be profitable. So really manage your change order as well. You want to make sure that you have terms and conditions, really good terms and conditions on your proposal and your contract. You should have a contract in place, but at the very least on your proposal. So any cost over allowance will be additional and payable by the client. Allowances, make sure that if they are going above, you've allowed for $10 per square foot for tile, they want a $20 per square foot tile, that you're not just letting it slide, that you are making sure that you're charging them for the additional costs, that their project, they're the ones who are hiring you to build it. They should be paying for it, and you should not be footing the bill for their problems or their old house or their lack of whatever, right? If it is because of you, then yes, own up to it if it's a mistake you made. But if it's like their house has, rot or mold or is off level or out of square or plumb or whatever, it's not your fault that, they want this project. And then any changes or alterations resulting in a change of scope of the above item estimate will be subject to an agreed upon add-on cost. This goes back to the estimating and the review, is making sure that you've got everything in there, that it's fairly detailed. It doesn't need to be like crazy specific, but there should be a really good, fairly detailed scope of work so that you can go back and be like, hey, I didn't account for this. As you can see, we didn't have in the estimate. Apologize, I maybe should have caught that ahead of time, but you create a change order for this because it wasn't part of our agreed, scope of work or what have you. So make sure you're doing that effectively. All right, so with me, we've got 2 more, and then I've got a bonus for you because I love giving more. But anyways, hold on. Like I said, get to the end of this video. This 20-30 minutes that you're going to spend here, super incredibly important for the profitability of your business. Suppliers and vendors. So you should have good relationships with your suppliers and vendors. Have your go-to people. Continue to build on those relationships. You can take them out for a beer, a coffee. When you go in there, make sure you say hi, whatever. Develop a relationship with your sales rep at your lumber yard, any large suppliers like your flooring place, whoever that you regularly deal with. Make sure you treat them really well, and then ask them, how can I reduce my costs and pricing? Do you guys have any kind of contractor discounts? Is there like another level of contractor discounts? Some larger lumber yards will have, maybe the basic one contractor discount is like 5%. And then if you do a certain amount of business, maybe you get to a 10%, discount or whatever, So ask them, is there a way that I could reduce my costs or possibility to get free deliveries, considering we do large purchases where I'm ordering like $20,000 worth of materials to site? Can you guys provide free delivery for those types of deliveries and stuff like that? And then ask them for favorable terms. So if you're paying in 30 days, then ask, is it possible that we could do 45-day or 60-day payment terms? You want to get yourself in trouble here with debt where, have like tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars of credit at a supplier, because it can get you in hot water really quick if you're not watching your numbers. But if you want to take on larger projects or commercial projects where their payment terms are 60, 90 days payment terms, then asking for favorable terms from your supplier will help your profitability, help your cash flow. Additional cash flow and having good cash management, it gives you better profitability because you're not paying fees and you're able to pay people on time. Your business will operate better. Money, it's the kind of the oil, gas that keeps everything moving and running. So suppliers and vendors, reach out to them, check how you can reduce your costs on materials and get favorable for that. Making sense? All right, we're getting there, guys. Invoicing. Number 9 is another one that I think a lot of contractors shy away from because either you're still doing the invoicing or maybe you don't want to bother your bookkeeper or whoever's doing the invoicing now. Increase the amount of invoices you send to client. The 20%, 50%, 80% completion invoices, doing that kind of stuff, especially on larger projects. Smaller projects, maybe that is every week or two, but you should be invoicing at least every 2 weeks on projects. I would say try to do every week, but every 2 weeks, because you want to continue to have cash flow. You want to get your client in the habit paying you regularly, and it just avoids a lot of hassle. If they've got to pay, like a $5,000 or $10,000 invoice every week, it's easier for them to get in that habit and for them to pay that than like them having to pay like a $50,000 or $70,000 invoice, every month or 60 days or whatever thing like that. So it's easier to chunk it down. And then for you, it's much easier for you because there's money coming in every week, every 2 weeks. So you always have like a really fresh cycle of more money into your business. And as I mentioned before, having better cash enables you to be more profitable because you're able to get deals placed, you're able to pay subs faster, people do better work for you. It's just a lot easier managing business with really consistent cash flow. So it's very easy. Just update your policy and make sure all your contracts and your proposals that are going out just say that invoices are sent weekly or bi-weekly. If for some reason you don't get invoices out, maybe you do it every 3 weeks or whatever, no one's gonna be like, oh, you should invoice me more. But set up the expectation to the client that, hey, we invoice generally every week, every second week. I would make it a regular thing, whatever it is that you do, but make sure invoices are going out regularly. Moving on, number 10, this is the final, big one of the profitability steps here. I've got 2 extra bonuses for you, so you want to make sure that you check out those as well. But a sure way to maintain optimal profitability is to reinvest what you learned into improved operations. So this is an assessment and something that you should be doing regularly. I typically do this, every week, month, and quarter, but to varying degrees. But you should have a really big assessment, probably every month or at least every quarter. Have a debrief with your project manager, your site foreman, see what you should stop and continue. So have a really good open discussion with the managers of your business, the supervisors of your business, and just say, hey, what's working right now? What could we improve? What should we stop doing? What do you hate to do? What do you think isn't really working right now very well? And what should we continue to do? What has been working very good? And then another thing with assessment as well is make sure you're always going back to the actuals and doing proper job costing. Even if you don't have job costing set up, reach out to me. I'll help you set it up. You can check out the links in the description below for a way to connect with me. But even if you don't have job costing set up where like all the specific numbers and details of like your different cost codes and where you went over and under, you should be able to, at least from how the project went and the money management, know like what you estimated. Did I make money? How much money did I make? Those types of calculations should be fairly easy for you to replicate if you've been doing your bookkeeping properly and keeping track of things. If you haven't, really this is something that you need to get into place so that for actuals, that estimating to completion to improved estimating, that flywheel is running for you. So every project you do improves your estimating. Every estimate you do improves your profitability. And it just continues. It's a virtuous cycle that you're constantly improving your ability to estimate and price projects effectively for more profits because you're doing proper assessments afterwards. And any lessons that you've learned, any issues with the profitability, you're putting that back into your estimating. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Hopefully that's making sense. And like I said, 2 bonuses here for you. First one, referrals. Referrals are the best way to be profitable because you don't have to pay for the marketing. You don't have to pay for the advertising. They are going to be an easier sale generally because they're referred. They have trust, likability. They already know you, like you, trust you. So referrals, you're going to do less time on the estimating. You're probably not going to be as competitive. You're able to price your job a little higher on referrals. Super incredibly important for profitability. I've included a great video here all about how to improve your amount of referrals that you get. So you can get this document, go click this link. It'll bring you to a video that'll improve your referrals and your referral ability with a bunch of ideas and ways to do that. And then finally, Supercharge Profits, a bonus. I hope you love these 11 points that I've had. And this is really just the tip of the iceberg. These are the kind of the wins and the ones that you can implement fairly quickly or understand really easily. This is like 10 of, ton of checklist items that we use for creating profitability. So we've got depths of systems specifically designed for contractors to scale their businesses without all the stress, without the insane hours, without getting trapped in the contractor 22, as I call it, where you're constantly trying to bring money in and do jobs, and then your marketing dives down, and then your jobs die down, and it's just like, that downward spiral. So you want to get out of that. If you'd like to learn more about the RRC, Rapid Result Creators, and myself, and how we systematize companies so they can function better, there is a link in this document, free consultation call. This call could be worth tens, hundreds of thousands of dollars to you. So I really suggest you do. If you've got a general contracting, renovating, remodeling company, home builder, go check out the free consultation. It is going to be super valuable for you. And as always, got lots of other content on here. So be free to check out my other content. And we've got links in the description below to pick up this document. See you on the next one. Here's to your profitability.